So hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video. Today we're going to be doing another event idea. I've got loads of these in the works. The current outbreak has caused me to go into my creative side, and I have created a lot of these event ideas, so stay tuned. I'm probably going to have one a week, or at least one every 2 weeks for you guys. They all won't be major. I'll probably go major, minor, minor, major, or major, minor, major. So last one we did the Blunder Years, and then before the Blunder Years we did the YouTuber one, and then before that we did the kids one. I'm not sure, or did I do the YouTube one first? I don't even remember. But today we're going to be doing a new event idea, and this is a oldies or an elders event idea. So this is primarily focused around the older residents of Springfield, although there's a few things that I've taken some liberties with, if you will. But yeah, I kind of think this is a great theme for an event. Like the kids event was based around kids, this is based around the old folks. And yeah, there's plenty of buildings and characters they can give us. I certainly haven't given you all the options of characters that they could add. This is just what I thought worked best in terms of a quest line, which characters I think made the most sense to add. So let's get into it, and to start it off, this is the startup. So Grandpa comes round to the Simpsons household and asks to be listened to for 5 minutes. He lists everything he wants to discuss: his relationships, the war, Homer's in-laws, his hatred of Mr. Burns. Homer claims that that's all boring, so you make Abe ramble and make Homer avoid Grandpa. Homer runs away from Grandpa and bumps into Jasper. Jasper talks to Homer about the time he got stuck in a freezer. Homer shouts, "Can I not avoid these old ramblers?" and runs away. Make Homer hide from the elderly, make Abe look for Homer, and this will unlock the event. So to start it up, I thought, why not have a St. Patrick's Day tie-in? Obviously, we couldn't get this year because St. Patrick's Day has come and gone, but maybe next year we could get this event and we could get a tie-in for St. Patrick's Day. So give old Gil a break and buy this old Irish geezer. It comes with some rocks. So this will have the Giant's Causeway with the Old Irishman for 170 donuts. And the Old Irishman will be able to, each act, he'd be able to help you out with the different acts maybe. Or possibly this could be a separate thing, like a mini update within a major update, and he won't be involved. But I thought because he's an old Irishman, it would makes sense to add him in this update, and it's a nice tie-in. Obviously, he's not seen at the Giant's Causeway, but it's in Ireland, so I thought it would make sense to add with him. So, Act 1, this is the store for Act 1, and the Act 1's name is going to be called Old Money. So, I started doing this, but I'll just go through it. So basically, the first thing you can get in the store is going to be Dorothy with the Hallow Roach Apartments for 150 donuts. Now, the Hallow Roach Apartments was in the game files a long time ago. It was originally going to be added with Jacqueline Bouvier, or at least people speculated that. It was going to be added in a Christmas update, but then it was never added. So it's in the game files, it's already been designed, so they can just give it to us. And I think the perfect character this could have come with would have been Jacqueline Bouvier, but another person was seen at this old folks home, and that was Dorothy. She was another resident. She's also a resident of, I think she's also a resident of the retirement castle, but she was seen at the Hallow Roach Apartments, as you can see here. There's the vent, and this is where one of the memes where like Grandpa's like back in a jiffy because he grabs the wrong woman. So I think this would be a perfect kind of character combo here. So yeah, and then also I think they should just give us the world's largest toilet and add it to the Road to Riches expansion. Now, the Road to Riches expansion, for over a year, we've had the coming soon little logo thing on. I think actually no, 2 years. For nearly over 2 years, we've had the coming soon on the Road to Riches, and we've never got the coming soon item. I think this update, it ties in with Grandpa. This is kind of Grandpa's update in a lot of ways. This old folks update. So I think it gives the option to add this in the Road to Riches. I've just kind of thrown this in just to remind you guys of it, but yeah, I think this would be kind of cool if they could give us this. Again, it's another thing like How the Rich Apartments that was actually in the game files, but it was never given to us. So I don't know, I think it could be kind of cool if we got it in the Road to Riches expansion. Anyway, moving on, Grandpa complains to Marge that Homer is avoiding him and the other oldies and asks for some gratitude for the greatest generation. Dorothy suggests showing that the old folks can be fun, and Abe agrees. Make Abe come up with fun activities, make oldies help Abe, and this will unlock the first prize, which will be the rundown retirement castle, and this is a skin for the retirement castle, so it's where it looks all decrepit and disgusting and old. Abe is in shock at the state of his home. He demands the town pays, as it's unhumane to allow them to live in these conditions. Homer tells him to shut up, so you make Abe complain to the mayor, make Quimby listen to Abe, and make oldies look for a new place to live. This will unlock the second prize, which is Disneyland. This is a place that Abe goes to after Beatrice Simmons dies, so I think this could be an interesting little thing together. It ties in with the episode, and it's quite a cool little parody of Disneyland. Yeah, Abe and the oldies claim that they will be living in Disneyland until their home is repaired, and they'll have loads of fun. Make Abe go to Disneyland, make oldies have fun, and then when you get all the people to do their tasks, Abe sees Beatrice's ghost and he's in shock, and so this will unlock Beatrice Simmons' grave, which is right here, as you can see here. Abe is saddened again as he remembers his old girlfriend. Wiggum comes in and tells the oldies to go back to your prison. Home. So you make oldies go home, make Grandpa mope around town, and this will unlock Grandma's world. Abe rushes into Grandma's world as it's Bee's favourite store. Homer stops him, saying that she is gone and he should stop acting so crazy. Then Bee's ghost visits them. Homer runs in fear and Abe laughs, because it's kind of funny. Make Homer run away, make Abe shop at Grandma's world, and this will unlock Beatrice Simmons, or B. Yeah, pretty cool character, one that I've wanted in the game for a bit. I think she is kind of interesting. Plus, I think the episode that she comes in, this entire kind of quest line could be pretty good for an act. I think this is one of the strongest acts. You get one skin, 2 buildings, a decoration, and a character. I think it's pretty solid. Anyway, moving on. Act 2, listening to war stories. So the premium is going to be Cora with Cora's Diner for 150 donuts. So yeah, Cora, I would probably say she's an oldie. I'm not sure exactly what her age is, but I think it makes sense. Plus, I think in her quest line for this, she should have like kind of a mini quest line going through how all she gets is like old folks talking about wars and she's kind of fed up with it. I don't know, I think there could be kind of a fun way of tying her in. But yeah, Cora with Cora's Diner for 150 donuts. Also, this happens rarely nowadays in the new events where we get something else in the store other than the building character combo. But I think they could give us the Veterans of One War for 65 donuts, which is right here. Moving on, so listening to War Stories, Act 2. Abe returns to the retirement castle with B and tells the residents to rise up and educate the young generations about the sacrifices they have made. He tells Hazel to come, but she can't hear him. Abe tells the town that he and the rest have stories to tell and they should listen, as they've never faced a war. Skinner says that he has, and Abe tells him that his war wasn't a real war. Make Abe talk about the war, make oldies remember the war, make Skinner defend his war, and this will unlock the first prize, which is the Veterans of Unpopular Wars Hall. Skinner notes that although his war wasn't popular, he still risked his life and deserves the same amount of respect as Abe. Abe asks the old Jewish man to tell him what happened to him and his family. Make old Jewish man talk about the war, make Skinner argue his case, make oldies talk about the war, and this will unlock the second prize, which is the old Jewish man's house, which is seen right here. This was originally the building I wanted to come with the old Jewish man, but then they gave him with the overpass diner, I think it was. But yeah, originally I wanted him to be added with this, because this was actually his home in the Meals on Wheel episode, where Homer, I think it's the Meals on Wheel episode where Homer goes and gives him his Meals on Wheel. I don't know. But yeah, here's his house here. So they could definitely add this in here, and it fits in with the thing, with the tasks, I guess, sort of. It's a bit loose, but I don't know. Anyway, Abe is shocked to learn that the old Jewish man never fought in any war. He reveals that he was just sitting comfy at home whilst it went on. Skinner is smug, and Abe asks Jasper to tell his story. So you make Abe, argue with Skinner, make Skinner act smug, make Oldies listen to Jasper, and I do want to add, I want a task to make the old Jewish man stay at home or something. And then this will unlock the third prize, which is Early Bird. So this is a costume for Jasper. It's also the last Defender costume that we haven't had. We haven't got this costume in the game yet, and it's the last Defender costume that needs to be added. So I don't know. I think it makes sense to add it now, and then we can finally complete that group of characters as in the Defenders. So So Abe tells Jasper that he is just talking about their time as superheroes, not the war, and Jasper reveals he wasn't part of the war either. Make Skinner win the argument, make Abe sulk in defeat, make Oldies forget about the war, and this will unlock the fourth prize, which is the Veterans of Popular Wars Hall. And then finally, Abe shouts at the other residents, asking them how they couldn't fight in the war, or at least lie about it. Hazel tells them that she was in the war, but the bombs destroyed her hearing, so she's not been able to know what's been going on. So you make Abe listen to Hazel, and make Oldies listen to Hazel, and this will unlock Hazel. So she's a resident, she's appeared a few times. She hasn't actually got any connection to the war. Her kind of shtick is that she can never be heard. In the episode where Homer visits her, where Homer's in the retirement castle, he tries to talk to her, but she just doesn't respond. And it's implied that she has terrible hearing. I don't know, so I kind of tied it in with the war thing. It's not entirely great, but there you go. There is a chance that instead of Hazel, they could give us one of the Hellfish, and I get that, because obviously it's my little event currency, it's Hellfish, and then this one was Grandpa's Fezzes. I probably should have said that. But yeah, Grandpa's Fezzes is this act prize, and this act prize is Hellfish tattoos. So there is a chance they could give us one of the Hellfish members. But I kind of was reserving that for its own event, which I may bring to you another day, guys. So that's the reason why I have reserved it. But I don't know, they could give us that instead of Hazel. I just thought Hazel was kind of a funny little character, so I wanted to throw her in there somewhere. Anyway, Act 3, the Bouvier question. So this probably is my favourite building character combo. So Clancy Bouvier with the Bouvier house for 150 donuts. Clancy Bouvier is definitely a character I've wanted in the game for a long time, so it'd be really good to get him, and plus the Bouvier house is another thing I've wanted in the game for a while. So anyway, Jacqueline asks Abe why he is with B and not her, and he reminds her that she chose abstinence over him. Jacqueline remembers this and says she was right, as men have never been any good. Clancy asks her what she's talking about. Make Abe watch Jacqueline avoid men. Make Oldies remember Clancy Bouvier. And this will unlock the first prize, which is Gladys Bouvier. Gladys reminds Jacqueline that she died all alone, and Jacqueline tells her it's better than trusting men. Clancy tells Abe that they need to get Jacqueline to want a relationship again. Make Abe help Clancy. Make Oldies visit Jacqueline. And this will unlock the second prize, which is going to be the Lucky Stiff Funeral. Oh, Stiff? Yeah. Lucky Stiff Funeral Home. We put the fun in funeral. Yeah, this is another little kind of funny building. I don't know, it ties in because it was with the whole Gladys thing. Abe and Clancy are horrified to see Jacqueline visiting a funeral home. Abe tells Marge, and she rushes to stop her, whilst Abe and Clancy come up with a plan. Make Abe come up with a plan, make Marge stop her mother, make Oldies plan their funerals. And this will unlock the third prize, which is going to be this piano. So it'll be like the little glass cabinet with the piano inside it, and this will include a new animation for Abe, which will be, he plays the piano and then he hits the glass and then he smashes through it. So that'll be a little animation for him. It could be pretty cool. And I do like animations being added, but it's an added bonus if it actually comes with something. And this kind of, it's a 2-in-1. You're getting a meh decoration, but you're getting an animation with it as well. So meh decoration, but an okay animation. Abe tells Clancy he'll perform for her, and she'll definitely want to date men again after this. Make Abe do his animation, make Oldies watch Abe perform, and this will unlock the fourth prize, which is the Seniorville trolley. Jacqueline agrees to go on a date with Abe, and Clancy is pissed about this. He wanted Jacqueline back, not he didn't want Abe to have her. Abe tells him that he can set her up with another Bouvier, Eunice. Make Abe set up dates, make Abe go on dates, and make Oldies, I forgot to add, make Oldies travel on the Seniorville trolley. And this will unlock the fifth prize, which is Eunice Bouvier, who is Marge's great half-step-aunt, which makes no sense. Anyway, Act 4, the store it's gonna be called Burn, Burns, Burn. And so yeah, in the store, we're going to be getting two things. Daphne Burns with Daphne Burns' manor, and now this is Mr. Burns' mother, And in the episode where we see his mother, she's in this wheelchair. She's a very old woman. She's like 130 something years old or something like that. She's crazy old. And we actually see her home in the episode. And I completely forgot about this, but I was watching the episode and I saw it. I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool manner. They could definitely give us that. So I thought, and this entire event actually happened because I wanted them to add Mr. Burns' mother with her home, and this is how I came up with this entire event. So I definitely would like Mr. Burns' mother with this home. It just looks really cool. And then also I thought, and that'll be 150 donuts of course. And also I thought, why not throw in the Hounds? Now the reason why they're a little pricey is because they are going to have lots of animations. So this is for 95 donuts, the Hounds. It does it. Obviously, they're not oldies, so it's kind of a loose tie-in some regards. But I figured the act is based on Mr. Burns, so you could get away with throwing them in. I don't know. I think it works. Anyway, Abe is partied out and asks Homer if he's convinced that old people can be fun. Homer replies that some can be, but there will always be evil old crooks. And also, by the way, the event currency is going to be hiking boots. The last one was cigarettes, if you didn't see. I keep forgetting to say that. Anyway, Abe asks who, and Mr. Burns reveals his plans to tear down the old folks' home and rebuild a new pair of towers. Make Abe stop Mr. Burns, make Mr. Burns follow with construction plans, and make Oldies protest Mr. Burns. And this will unlock the first prize, which is Burns Construction Co. Now, we do obviously have the oil drill, but the oil drill is like where obviously this sign turns into Burns' oil drill. So I propose they just give us the Burns Construction Co. with this little kind of thing here, this little green thing with the little fences and this orange thing. So it's just a sign really. It's not like any kind of building, it's just pretty much a decoration. So you get this kind of sign. B tells Burns that he can't tear down the retirement castle because she has phoned his mother. Daphne tells Mr. Burns to stop being evil, and he does. She asks him to do something nice for once, and Mr. Burns decides to come up with an activity for the oldies. Make Burns create an activity, make Abe prepare for an activity, make oldies prepare for an activity, and this will unlock the second prize, which is the Mount Useful Visitor Center. Burns reveals that they'll be hiking up Mount Useful. Jasper complains it's too hard, and Abe tells him to be quiet, as he's making all the other oldies look bad. Make Mr. Burns lead the oldies, make Abe begin to climb, make the oldies begin to climb. This will unlock the third prize, which is Burns' Mount Useful cabin, I guess it could be called. So this is the cabin he has on Mount Useful. It's nothing crazy, it's kind of a basic building, really. Anyway, moving on. Burns tells them that they can relax in his cabin for a while, whilst they reciprocate, and then meant to be like recuperate. Anyway, he laughs as they're all tired and worn out. Abe comments that he isn't because he made Smithers carry him, as in Mr. Burns isn't because he made Smithers carry him up the mountain. Make Abe race to the top, make Smithers carry Mr. Burns to the top, and make Oldies straggle behind, and this will unlock Mount Useful itself. So this will be a decoration, another mountain in the game, which is be really, really cool. We haven't got loads of these. We have a few, obviously, the Murder Horn's one of them, but I would like another mountain. They're kind of cool to have. So yeah, you get Mount Useful, huge mountain. Yeah, pretty awesome. Anyway, moving on. Abe reaches the top before Burns and he laughs in his face, but Abe wasn't the first. Jack was. Jack begs Mr. Burns for his job back. He's proven to be the best oldie, but Mr. Burns says no. Abe tells his fellow oldies to return to the retirement castle, to relax and be boring again. Make Mr. Burns refire Jack, make Abe climb down the mountain, and make oldies return to being boring. And I do want to say there will be a little epilogue where Abe basically is like, Homer, look, see, we were kind of fun in the end, and Homer kind of, agrees, and then maybe retired Homer visits him and's like, yeah, I'm still fun, don't worry. I don't know, that could be kind of funny. But anyway, that is it for the event. So obviously those are the prize, Jack Marley being the final prize. So let's get into some tasks. So for the Old Irishman, we've got Smoke from Pipe for 60 minutes. This will be animated. Celebrate St. Patrick's Day for 4 hours. This will be at Moe's Tavern probably, or possibly O'Flanagan's. Visit O'Flanagan's for 6 hours, obviously at O'Flanagan's. Deliver Sarcasm for 8 hours. This could be anywhere really. O'Flanagan's maybe. Or maybe the Giant's Causeway, I don't know. Start a mob fight for 12 hours, as we animated as he is in here, kind of starting a fight. Respect Giant Heritage for 24 hours at the Giant's Causeway. And then for Dorothy, get mistaken by Grandpa for 60 minutes. This will be Grandpa kind of wheeling her forward and backwards. And it'll be a little animation. Take pills for 4 hours. This will be at the Hallerich Apartments, or maybe, I don't know. Anyway, move to the Hallerich Apartments for 6 hours. It will be at Hallerich Apartments. Spend time with other families for 8 hours. This will be at the Simpsons house. She's just kind of being crazy. Frolic for 12 hours. This will be her kind of like this character does in this picture. I know this isn't Dorothy, but or at least I don't think it is Dorothy, but like that woman's doing. They've created animations before, so I don't see why not. Anyway, and then spend time with other residents. This will be at the retirement castle. For B, we've got swap pills with A for 60 minutes. This will be this little thing here. Shop at Grandma's World for 4 hours. Relax at the retirement castle for 8 hours. Ride Disneyland for 12 hours. Will be an animation, and she will appear as a ghost, but I don't know. They could touch it up so she appears alive. But her riding up and down on the ride, and this will include Grandpa, I think. And he'll be riding up and down as well. And then rest easy for 24 hours. This will be at her grave. Very sad. Anyway, for Cora, we got deliver the bill for 60 minutes. It'll be her carrying a bill and like slapping it down. Mop the diner for 4 hours. This will be at Cora's diner. Obviously, 6 hour shift for 6 hours. 8 hour shift for 8 hours. Serve coffee for 12 hours. Will be an animation of her carrying a coffee mug around, and then 24-hour shift for 24 hours. So all of these are pretty much in the diner, apart from these two that will, be animated and her walking around. And then we've got Early Bird, kick criminals' butts for 60 minutes. This will be an animation. Practice flying for 4 hours. Meet with the Dependables for 6 hours. This will be at the retirement castle probably. Practice flying will probably be at the retirement castle as well. And fly around town for 12 hours. This will be animated, him flying around. Take down Dr. Lenny for 24 hours. Probably at the Dr. Lenny's lab. And then for Hazel, we've got put in hearing aids for 60 minutes. This will be animation. Her just sitting on the couch, and then she's just putting... essentially a couch will spawn, and she'll be putting hearing aids in. Talk about the war for 4 hours. This will be the retirement castle. Relax at the retirement castle for 8 hours. Sit and observe for 12 hours. This will be her in a... literally just sitting down in her seat. Nothing else. So it's barely an animation, but I think it could be kind of funny. And then ignore people for 24 hours, obviously at the retirement castle. And then Clancy, hide in shame for 60 minutes as an animation. Him kind of hiding behind his penny or his bib, whatever you want to call it. Work as a baby photographer for 4 hours. This will be at the Clancy house. Visit family for 6 hours. This will be at the Simpsons house. Complain about Homer for 8 hours. This will be at the Bouvier house. Try a new leg for 12 hours. This will be his most recent appearance. I don't know, it could be kind of funny. Now, TapTap tends to give us the most recent appearances of characters, so there is a chance when we do get Clancy, we'll get this version. But I don't know. I'm hoping we get this version. I think this is the best version, or possibly when he's a little bit fatter, we could get that version. I'm not a fan of this version, to be honest with you. It just looks wrong. But I think there could be a funny animation where he's got this little leg. And then work as an airline steward for 24 hours. This could be the airport, but if you don't have the airport unlocked, it could be at the... I don't know, the Brown House or anything really. And we got Gladys. Spend time with Jub Jub for 60 minutes as an animation. It'll be her and Jub Jub kind of spending time together. Find a dodgy lawyer for 4 hours. This will be at, I don't know really, could be anywhere. Brown House maybe, or Brown House, whatever. Spend final days around family for 8 hours. This will be at the Simpsons house. Record Will for 12 hours animated. This will be her on a couch, and she's reading from a little book there, and she's kind of reading a will as she did in the episode. And then pick out funeral home for 24 hours. This will be the funeral home in the thing. I forgot what it's called, but you know the one I'm talking about. This one, the Lucky Stiff. That's it. Anyway, moving on. We got Eunice. So celebrate alone for 60 minutes. So it'll be this animation here. Write family members out of the will for 4 hours. There could be Simpsons house, or really, I don't know, could be anywhere. Count years on this planet for 8 hours. She's also really old, I forgot to say that. She's like 100 and something as well. But anyway, count years on this planet for 8 hours. Use Zimmer frame as a weapon for 12 hours. Animated, that'll be her kind of using her Zimmer frame as a little weapon. It could be kind of funny. And then phone up relatives for 24 hours. This will be probably the Simpsons house or Brown House, doesn't really matter. Then we've got Daphne Burns, call up son for 60 minutes. It will be animated. Her on the phone, on her porch, talking to her son. Spit on photo albums for 4 hours. That will be at her manor. Wait by the phone for 6 hours. That will be at her manor as well. Wish for more wealth for 8 hours. That will be in her manor as well. be young again for 12 hours, and this will be, she'll look like this for a bit, and the wheelchair will despawn. The reason why I want this is because I don't want them to add a separate character. I'd rather just have her kind of be old and decrepit and have the wheelchair, and then just have an animation where she appears young, because I don't want them to add another character, like another version of herself. So yeah, that's just my opinion. Anyway, Scorn Sun's success for 24 hours, and this will be at the nuclear power plant. And then we have the Hounds, so this is what I was talking about with the animation. So, do an aggressive growl for 60 minutes. For animation, this will be this kind of appearance here. Attack Flanders for 12 hours, this will be them attacking Flanders. Attack Homer for 4 hours, them attacking Homer. Attack Bart for 6 hours, them attacking Bart. Again, these are all animations. Turn on Master for 8 hours, this will be them attacking Mr. Burns. Be Released for 12 hours, animation, and this will be at Burns' mansion, so they'll just appear, and then they'll be running down, they'll just be running essentially in front of the building, and then they'll disappear, and then they'll do that again, and then do it again, and do it again. And their only task that isn't animated is wait for a new victim for 24 hours, which will be at the Mr. Burns' manor. And then finally we got Jack Marley, beg for job back for 60 minutes, this will be an animation. Reminisce on retirement for 4 hours, this could be at the Spruce Caboose, which is where he had his retirement party. Look for new work for 8 hours, this will possibly be at the job centre, or the whatever it's called. Give speech for 12 hours, it will be him, little podium, kind of talking, again, another animation. And then climb Mount Useful to prove worth, and this will be obviously at Mount Useful. So that is it for my Elders event. This probably was a long video, so I'm going to stop here. So tell me your thoughts. Any other characters you think they should add? I don't know, I think it works with these characters that I've added anyway, so I don't know. Tell me your thoughts, and I'll see you next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.